Amen. How are y'all doing? And ladies, hope everybody's good. I'm ready to go to the front line now. Oh, I'm going to unzip this when I sit to give myself some more room. Oh. Well, okay. What we're going to talk about primarily is the roads, our secondary roads, things we're doing. I'm going to read you just a few things, and then I'm going to kind of turn you over to myself and Byrd and let you ask whatever you choose. You know, I guess the easiest way to start out is, as we've said before, the transportation or the highway department in general, over years and years, even decades, we kind of lost our way. We lost our way from the standpoint of we really weren't looking necessarily at maintenance first. We were trying to survive, I guess is the right word. And along the way we had this, you know, I don't know what you'd call it, but it was surely not wisdom, where we sold a whole lot of our maintenance equipment. And whether they be grade-alls, I think at one time we had 37 grade-alls, is that right? And we sold them all, you know, and then when you're starting to try to repair a road and you're trying to pull ditches or whatever it may be with a backhoe, you're truly getting footage done rather than miles done. And so it's just a bad mistake. That's just all there is to it. And so then we focused a lot of our attention on the Roads to Prosperity thing, which is great, and it worked. And we all should be very, very happy and grateful to what happened there, because it created a lot of just instantaneous jobs. But the focus was in a lot of ways on our bigger projects, and our bigger projects are tremendously important. There's no question about that. We're not taking the focus away from our big projects, but we have to get back and genuinely fix our secondary roads. Now, so I guess what the bottom line is, the focus had to be changed back to a maintenance first organization. You know, about a month ago, I met with all the county supervisors and the district managers and asked them to formulate a list of every single road and every single problem with every single road in their county. Now, they went out and did that list. I gave them 72 hours to get the list together. Well, they brought the list in, and you know, our secretary here would tell you that the list was 2 or 3 feet high. And it had everything in the world on it. And then we tried to prioritize what would be the best and what is the most important to do and do right now. Now, I'm very proud, very, very proud of this. In the last month, now get this, in the last month we have ditched and bladed more than 2,000 miles in West Virginia. 2,000 miles of our secondary roads we've done in the last month. We've ditched and bladed. We've also used in excess of 16,000 tons of asphalt to patch these roads. Now, we have with us today our Secretary White and Commissioner Jimmy Riston back there somewhere. I don't know where Jimmy went to. There he is, okay. Let me just pause just for a second and go to 100,000 feet. We had to focus our attention on fixing the roads. We absolutely had to change the direction that we were going in, and so we had a good man in Tom Smith, but we had to go a different way. Now, I'm not here to cast stones at Tom Smith in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but we have a better man in Secretary White that's doing a great job, an incredible job. Now, in addition to that, we hired a guy that's hands-on, in Jimmy Riston. Guy that's been with us a long time, but a guy that knows every wrinkle and won't put up with nonsense either. And so at the end of the day, we got two superstars that are running with this whole thing, and the results are easy to see. If, you know, I would tell everybody, and I'll probably re-emphasize this as we go along, but as you're driving out on the roads and you see all these crews there, honk your horn at them or wave at them. Or if you get stopped, you know, and they're within shouting distance, thank them. Because those people are doing great work. They're everywhere. They're like ants flying all over the place, and they're all over the place. Now, in addition to that, our secretary here said, you know, and Jimmy said to all the people, said, formulate your plans and formulate a priority list and get it back to us. And then they got it back to us, and you know what they said? They said, we've done this over the years, and we've done it, and done it, and done it, and done it. And then when we get it there, they tell us not to do it, or they can't do it. Well, Byrd said it was a real eye-opening, because when they brought it to us, Byrd just threw it back at him and said, okay, do it. Do it all right now. So the net of the whole thing is just this. We got a lot of good stuff going on. There's a lot of people really working, and I'm going to see if there's anything else that I want to show you this in just a second, but our highest priority, no question, is fixing our secondary roads right now. Although the projects, the Roads to Prosperity projects will go on, and they'll go on timely. I think you're going to see over the next 2.5 months, you know, a trial run on all this data that's come into us, and the success of what we're able to, you know, end up with. And at the end of the road here, I would just tell you that, you know, I'm not somebody that goes on, you know, cussing or bad word fits. And I said, we're going to fix the damn roads. And it's somewhat uncomfortable for me to say that way. But I said it, you know, with the Coalfield Expressway, I said it way back when I stood out there right outside of Sophia. 28, now 29 years. You know, I was in McDowell County the other day. I was giving out some grants in McDowell County, and I was going by the industrial park down there where the prison is. And I said, you know, I thought, well, gosh, I got to go in there. And I just drove in there, and when I did, all of that earth moving that was done for the prison, we did it. Our company did it all, every bit of it. You know, we bid like $2.6 million to do the work, and the next closest bidder was $22 million. And we knew that, you know, we were down there. That was our area of the world. And we knew that there was no way to get that project done, you know, if you bid a great big number. So we basically just bid it and did the work, and just for the sake of doing the right thing. Well, when we did all that, now all of a sudden the prison did come. And I thought for a long time, I thought, well, that's impossible. This isn't going to happen, but it did. It happened exactly like I've told you. And then I hadn't been there in probably 15 years. But along the way, when we were doing that, and maybe it was 20 years ago, gosh, time goes, it could have even been 25 years ago. But along the way, there was a section of the Coalfield Expressway that was built right behind where the prison is right now, right down over the hill. It didn't have a connecting point on this end, it didn't have a connecting point on that end. And there's no telling how much money it cost to build that, but it had to be 10 or 12 or 15 million dollars. Now it's just grown up in bushes. I mean, it was built 15 years ago, you know, and grown up in bushes. We don't need to do that. We just don't need to be making those kind of mistakes. So, I'm telling you, we got good stuff to report, and we're moving, and it's just going to get more and more and more as the weather continues to be better and better and better. So these guys, Brother White and Brother Riston, give them a big hug today, because they're doing a whale of a job. And I am more proud of them than I can possibly tell you. They are doing one heck of a job. And this guy, you know, Secretary Hardy, I guess he does okay too. But Rebecca, show them this right here. And Byrd, get up here and go over that. Brag about it and everything. Well, you got to get over there where they can see you. Lord have mercy. You're live now. It looks like you turned it on.
I don't know how it works.
It's on.
This technical stuff's over my head. This, since Governor Justice told us, get to work. This is what's happened in the past months. He gave us those directions on March 16th. This is through April 14th. What our people have done under the direction of Jimmy on our secondary roads. None of this is on the big stuff. We're going to get the big stuff, but this is what's happening on the secondary roads. It is the Governor Justice told us, go fix the roads. I'll leave out that other part. Okay. Go fix the roads. There's absolutely, people are hunting for asphalt. There's absolutely no reason at all to go put asphalt on a road that doesn't have good ditches, that doesn't have good base. It's a waste of money. It's been done for years. It's a waste of money. What we're doing is trying to get the roads prepared, get them ready, get the water off the road, get the base fixed, and then we'll go pave them. But this is what we're doing to get ready. We've got to get pipes and culverts in there in order to get the water away from the road, into the ditch and away from the road. We've got to get a ditch done so that we've got a place to put the water. But all this is pre-getting other stuff done. It's this big guy's been giving me orders for years, and I've done my best to carry him out. This is what he wanted done first. Get the roads ready, quit wasting money on asphalt that's going to fall apart next year. This, in the long run, this is going to save the taxpayers of West Virginia a lot of money because their roads won't fall apart next year. You got more to say?
Well, I'm good. You just stay right here, Byrd. Okay? You got to calm down just a little bit now. Don't be so nervous. Just calm down. Okay? My dad would have said this over and over and over. You know, I tell you a lot of sayings and things from my dad. You know, my dad would say, if you were going to build a McDonald's, what three things are the most important three things if you're going to put in a McDonald's? And that's location, location, location. That's all there is to it. That's the three most important things. What are the three most important things in building a road, Jimmy? That's exactly what he'd look at me. What are the three most important things about building a road, Jimmy? And then it would be drainage, drainage, drainage. That's all there is to it. Exactly what we're doing right here. You know, really and truly, if you don't have proper drainage, you can have all the asphalt in the blooming world. And in all honesty, all you're going to have is just flat mess. And so they put in an incredible amount of hours, and I just can't say enough for them. And I want everybody in the state of West Virginia, every single person in the state of West Virginia, if we can, to just toot your horn at these people and be proud of what they're doing. I mean, be absolutely proud. I mean, we got so many good things going on, it's unbelievable. I mean, I just came cruising down the turnpike here and everything. And of course, I'm going right through the toll booths because I've got an easy pass and everything, and I'm watching everybody else go through. $8, and they're just zooming through. $8 easy pass, and they're just happy as they can be, big grin on their face. They don't have to stop and look for money and all that kind of stuff, plus the fact that they're saving money every day. It's good stuff. Good, good, good stuff. The only thing I'd tell you is where we cut these slices in the interstate, I don't know why in the world we did that. I have no idea why we did it and everything, because I'm not a civil engineer and everything. But you got somebody getting a little smoother because they're driving us all crazy. Okay, sit down, Byrd, and we'll take your questions as best we can.
Governor, how does this stack up against what you would normally do in the spring? Is this a lot more than is normally done? I have no feel for it whatsoever.
Well, Jimmy, come up here. You can tell them. Jimmy's been normal for spring after spring.
I can tell you we've never had an April like what this represents, ever.
Now you got to elaborate just a little bit, but that's pretty good.
Well, we got our mission, and you know, the routine. That wasn't good enough. It's just not good enough. We'll just slide back further if we keep doing the same thing the same way. So the bottom line is we did exactly what Governor Justice told you. We went back to our roots. We went back to our work ethic. We went back to our heritage. We went back to our character. And this is the result. And you're going to see this. You're going to see those numbers just grow exponentially all summer long.
Obviously, you did 2,000 miles of ditching. How much of a handicap is it not having all those grade holes?
We tend to do the best we can with what we have, and what we have is what we have, but we're working on that too. We're going to get what we need to finish the job. So it's a bit of a hindrance to not have the right tool for the right job.
Comparison of two of the items, 2,000 miles of ditching, about 16,000 tons of patching. How does this compare with a typical spring month maintenance?
To have the exact ratio, I'd be definitely afraid to give that to you, Phil, but I can find that out for you. It's much more. It's much more.
I like much more. That's good. Yes, sir.
Well, so the governor, your old Commerce Secretary said he's going to challenge you in a primary. You have any response to that, first of all?
Sure. Okay, Jim, you can go. Sure. I'd love to. I guess here's the bottom line. There's a great big difference between Woody and myself. And you know, and I don't want to rain on Woody's day. I mean, today's his day. You know, and I welcome him to the race and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of difference. You see, from the first day that Woody became the Commerce Secretary, he was running for something every day. I mean, every day he was flying all over the place in the state plane and speaking to whoever had listened to him and everything. And that's what Woody wants to do. Woody needs that. I mean, that fuels Woody and everything. Well, you see, I don't need that. You know, I don't need ego and status. And I surely don't need the next hot tip to better my business. You know, and in all that running and everything, just to call it like it was, I mean, that's what got Woody in a mess. I mean, because there was things that were going on that were basically traced back to they were self-serving things. And so at the end of the day, you know, I'm a completely different animal. I have come to you to serve. I never want a thing. And I have told you over and over and over, when the point in time comes that you can look at me and say, Justice, you've told us a lie, you know, I'll challenge you all day long, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just plain not going to do that. So we're different. I welcome him. Today's his day. There's no point in beating on each other and everything today, but we are, we're very different. You know, if we want to go back in this state, you know, to where we've got a governor spending a whole lot of money doing things, you know, just to better his ego and everything else like that, and running all over Kingdom Come in the state plane or the state helicopter, or party after party after party, or whatever it may be, because that's what we've had. I mean, now let's just be honest, that's what we've had. And we've hid behind, well, you know, I'm 24/7 all the time, a governor. But you see, the thing you don't catch is just this, is I always challenge anybody with just this too. Nobody's worked as hard as me. There's no possibility. There's no possibility. There's nothing that's going to get by me. Absolutely nothing. You know, and I can't say that that you'll never, 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 but I'm telling you, I challenge you all the time, and without trying to just find some little insignificant thing to trip me up on, to find something that I've missed, to find something where I've not told you the truth. I'm here for one reason, and we've done a heck of a blooming job. That's all there is to it. Things are so much better in every way. Now, we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. But just step back and think about it. We've just got a lot of good things going. Yes, sir.
Obviously, you got the lists last month from your DOH engineers and supervisors. List is high, some of it in handwriting. How close are we to seeing kind of a perfected list based on that? And I'm sure that that's going to be triaged to some extent based on the needs or whatnot. How close are we to seeing kind of a final kind of report list detailing the plans to fix some of those?
Let me answer this first, and then you go. Stephen, I think what you're going to hear from Byrd is just this, is once we can cleanse the list and prioritize the list and everything, then you're going to see a weekly updating of projects that were finalized and fixed and done, and just an ongoing thing where you can watch it. You can just watch absolutely right on the screens and everything exactly what's happening and how it's going about.
Governor, there were a lot of problems.
Wait a minute, wait. Byrd was going to follow with Stephen, and then I come back.
Before this week is over, it will be posted on our website a list of jobs that we intend to complete before the end of this fiscal year, before July. And you'll be able to look at it. Now, the list for the rest of the year will come out as soon as you can imagine. We got all these little slips of paper, keying them in, getting them in order, eliminating duplications. But we've got from now to July ready to be posted in the next day or so, and you'll see it.
Governor, the Rise Flood Housing Program had serious problems. Did that get by Mr. Thrasher, or did it get by you? It's just now getting back up to speed after a lot of work with the National Guard.
Well, I'm the governor, guys, you know, and really and truly, I accept that responsibility all the time, you know. But you have 40,000 people or whatever, they're out there and supposedly doing their job. You know, the thing that triggered everything with the pause was a change order that came out of nowhere on an $800,000, and if I understand correctly and everything, but on an $800,000 project, a change order of $17 million. You know, and it was approved. You know, that was the other thing. And if we just didn't happen to catch it, we would have had monies through FEMA or HUD or whomever, and they would have gone. You know, and then I said, my God, 11, what are we doing here? You know, and everything. Well, we surely lost our way. And And the first person in that line, and Jake said, you know, asked me the question before I ever did it, are you going to fire your commerce secretary? Because that was the first guy in the line. And, but it was, you know, it got out of hand. We stopped the $17 million change order stuff. We probably saved the state $8 or $9 million just by stopping it. That money can be redirected to a lot of things. The biggest thing, Bob, that I'd say about this is just this: is, I mean, if you want to really hurt my feelings, you insinuate in any way, shape, form, or fashion that I have not given every bit of attention, every bit of intelligence, or every bit of me that I can give to try to help the flood victims. If you want to really hurt my feelings, that's how you hurt my feelings the worst. Because I lived it, opened my house to everybody, I took nothing for it. I mean, you know, let's just think back. I mean, gosh, I had all kinds of people say, well, look, you know, you ought to get a per diem for the people that are in the hotel, or you got to get a per diem for all the National Guard people you're feeding and everything. Never took a nickel, not a nickel. You know, we formed Neighbors Loving Neighbors. Neighbors would give away millions of dollars, and look, with all my people, I paid all my people never an administrative nickel, not a nickel. And so that's why, you know, when you're out there and wading the mud looking for bodies, it's pretty tough stuff. It's pretty doggone tough stuff. And you look for a little 14-year-old beautiful kid, you know, Kayla Phillips, you look for 6 weeks, and you find her miles and miles and miles down the stream. Her parents don't know where she is, and it's terrible. It's beyond terrible. And the whole time, my resort, it was ripped to pieces, ripped to threads. And now, you have the insurance companies not paying you, and every issue known to man with that. So yeah, I'm telling you, if anybody ever insinuates that Jim Justice in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you know, could have done better, that really hurts. Really.
As long as we're on the subject of Neighbors Loving Neighbors, the Internal Revenue Service, it would appear, has no record of this organization's existence or any finances related to it. Secretary of State Warner's office has it listed as a trade name under Old Light Charities.
Right.
Was Neighbors Loving Neighbors never properly incorporated as a 501c3 organization? And can we get a list of the expenditures and the money that came in and where it went?
Well, I'm sure that I can get you every single thing about Neighbors Loving Neighbors, you know. But here's how Neighbors Loving Neighbors came into being. We were getting ready for the golf tournament. I came up with the name. You know, the golf tournament's getting ready to happen, and what we decided was, because we're getting ready to do, I think at the time, you know, but I said, listen, I'll tell you what, let's do. We got a lot of people that are out there in West Virginia still really hurting. Let's let everybody come to the golf tournament this year for free. And we'll let everybody come for free, but ask everybody if they'd bring a can of food. And you know, and we'll just mound up can after can after can of food, and we'll take it to the food banks, and we'll be able to help as many people as we can help. And then 3 weeks later, the flood, poof, right before the golf tournament. So all of a sudden now, you're surely not going to have anybody come to the golf tournament because the golf courses are washed away. So that turned then to people sending money into Neighbors Loving Neighbors. And Habibi Mamoon, you know, headed it up, did a great job with it. And basically, you know, I had 3 or 4 different people in my organization that were just taking the monies in and distributing the monies out, and positively, without one thread of doubt, there was never an administrative fee taken, never anything taken. All the money was given. Every bit of it. In fact, I was never associated with any. I never saw the books. I never saw anything with that.
Well, speaking of which, I'm looking at the records here, and the Old White Charities, of which Neighbors Loving Neighbors was a subset of, had revenue of $51,000 that year and expenditures of $4.7 million. Again, can we get an accounting of where the revenue that came in and the expenditures that went.
You can get the accounting all day long, but you're looking at the revenue. I mean, you're just looking at it. I mean, for crying out loud, guys, at the end of the day, I was the charity. Any way you cut it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what anybody says. The golf tournament's probably cost Jim almost $70 million to have in West Virginia. $70 million to have in West Virginia. The state of West Virginia has benefited beyond belief. Earl Ray, when he was the governor, said we got the Procter & Gamble plant because we had the golf tournament, we were there entertaining people and everything else. I've said over and over and over, starting in the campaign, I refused $1,750,000 sponsorship from the state, and let's just add up what I have refused so far on that. I'd say you're approaching $10 million of sponsorship money from the state. I've refused all of it. How's Old White made it? I guarantee you Old White Charities has made it one way. Me. I don't care what anybody says. At the end of the day, the golf tournament has cost tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars more than we had in any way in sponsorship or attendance or whatever. What are you going to do? Where's the money going to come from? Came from me.
Governor, the West Virginia State Auditor investigated the use of FEMA dollars in Richwood and essentially found a lot of problems with the usage of the money to make it simpler. They've recommended the FEMA Inspector General come in and investigate. I mean, in light of their findings, is it really accurate to say that nothing gets by you? I mean, there seems to be some serious problems.
Well, I don't know how in the world you could hang the Richwood situation on me. I mean, for crying out loud, you got people up there that have done stuff that's, nasty stuff, and done stuff, in the shadows and everything else. But that one would have really been tough to have caught by anybody. But I would tell you, in that situation, I've said it before, and again, welcoming any and every investigation. I am an absolute open book. You've got people there that it surely looks like, and we'll give them their fair day in court, but it surely looks like you have people there that have taken advantage of a situation to benefit themselves. If that be the case, I hope they get the book thrown out.
Back on secondary road maintenance, how much, do we have a ballpark figure for how much this summer's additional maintenance will cost, and do we know the sources of that funding?
That's why I wanted Dave to come, because I thought that question may come. Okay. Oh, Mike, I'm sorry.
Yes, Phil. Byrd and I talk probably 3 or 4 times a week about what his needs are, and in a recent conversation, probably last week, Byrd told me that he felt like, on behalf of the Department of Highways, that he needed $80 million additional dollars by June 30th. He had gone through his budget and was proposing, and we discussed it with our budget director, what we would call a reallocation or realignment of about $35 million within the Department of Highways budget. And then Mike Cook, under my direction, our state budget director, has been doing a comprehensive review of all the accounts in the state of West Virginia, and we've identified somewhere roughly 25 to 30 million from those accounts, which of course those will be proposed by supplemental appropriation. So if you add those two things together, you get about 60 million. Then I've consulted with our bond representatives, our bond counsel, and our bond advisors. The bonds had originally sold, the GO1 bonds, they sold last June. They sold, I think it was June 8th, for $917 million. We have committed officially $249.9 million of projects out of those bond proceeds, and about $13 million of smaller projects. So if you add those two numbers up, you're at about $263 million. So we have a pool of money from the GO bond proceeds, 917 less 263. Our initial proposal between now and June 30th for today, unless Byrd reworks his numbers, is going to be roughly $20 to $25 million out of GO1, which gets us to the finish line our first step between now and June 30th of about $80 to $85 million.
Do you have numbers specifically from this chart in the past month, how much this cost?
I have consulted with Byrd White extensively about how much he feels he needs, and the number that we've targeted is 80 to 85 million.
Then we're going to go from July 1 on.
July 1 on, we haven't gone past this fiscal year. Our first goal was to see what we needed between now and June 30. I would anticipate over the next few weeks that I'll be working with our state budget director, our bond folks, and of course highways, where we work together constantly to identify where we're going July 1st forward.
Has there been anything in writing with bond counsel saying here's the upper limits of what you can do with bond money?
The bond counsel has always been consistent with, and our bond advisors, that the average lifespan of the assets that you purchase from GO1 needs to be 15.2 years or more for the average life. The first 5 projects that we have contracted for all have projected lives of between 25 up to 70 years for those projects. And Phil, I'm talking about the I-81 widening project in Eastern Panhandle, the addition of another lane in Beckley, and several other very large projects that have very large projected lives. So we're in very good shape in that the first 250 million is probably, I haven't sat down and done the weighted average, but it's well between 20 and 30 years. So to take 20 million and do it, say, a projected life project of 7 to 12 years, we're in perfect compliance with our bond covenants to do that.
Have you gotten any updates from the DOJ, any requests for other documents related to the subpoena to the Greenbrier?
You know, I'm going to have to dance around that question just a little bit. I don't like to do this. I don't like to do this at all. But you know, I can tell you about the Greenbrier. I can tell you about Old White Charities. You know, I can surely respond to your Forbes article and so on. There are things that I have been told, and again, this is not my style, but there's things that I've been told that I just really have to leave certain things to the attorneys and let them work it out.
What do you think they're looking for?
I don't have one earthly clue, and I honestly don't. You know, and I want to be, again, I want to re-emphasize that I want to be respectful of these people and the job they're doing. I mean, let's just be fair here. They're here to protect us, you know, and that's the job they do. But I can tell you that I guess I'll make a mistake, you know, now and then I try to correct it. But you've got a story to tell that's just as simple as just this. I mean, along the ways, every coal company in the land took bankruptcy and not us. And in doing that, if you don't think it made things tough, that made things really tough. But at the end of the day, people were beneficiaries, from banks to vendors to employees and on and on and on and on and on. Now, we don't give enough credit for the fact, you know, of what Jay and Jill and them have battled through. It's been tough. And you throw in a flood on top of that, I mean, you know, you're talking about a cannonball to the gut, and then an insurance company that won't pay you. It's tough. It's really tough. And so I guess, you know, you know, in an organization as big as our organization, you surely are going to be able to find something, you know, that doesn't look right or whatever. But I'll promise you, to God above, you said, what are they looking for? And I would tell you, to God above, you're never going to find anything that Jim Justice has purposely done to benefit Jim Justice. There's no way. There's just no way.
What about the tourism tax credits at the Greenbrier?
I'm sorry?
The Greenbrier has received some pretty sizable tax credits from the development office. Would those benefit the Greenbrier?
Well, I don't really know exactly what that amount is or what they've received. I would say just this to that, and that is, think about what any other company or any other business would have received from West Virginia that came into a situation to where 2,000 people were going to lose their jobs. The place could have very well closed. And in addition to that, we went out there and spent $250 million of investment, did all the other stuff we did. What business would have not come to the state of West Virginia and said, build the roads or do this for us or do that, and everything? It would have been astronomical. You know, you may be referring to dollars that they received from the Tourism Development Act or whatever, you know, but it can't be anything but a drop in the bucket compared to what's been spent and what's been done. I mean, just next to nothing.
Let me tell you, I've known this guy since he was skinny and had brown hair. And I will bet you my house that he hadn't done anything knowingly wrong. Now, all of us skip through life and make some mistakes here and there, but I'll bet you my house, if you're willing to take the bet, that he hadn't done anything knowingly wrong.
Well, and that comes back to what I was asking about earlier between the division of Old White and Neighbors Loving Neighbors. Is it possible this was just a paperwork for accounting mistake? Because it appears the federal government is looking at just that, why Neighbors Loving Neighbors wasn't set up as a formal 501c3.
You know, Mark, I wish I could answer it, but I can't really answer it because I never had anything whatsoever to do with Neighbors Loving Neighbors as far as handling the money, looking at the books, you know, taking in the money, seeing the checks, nothing whatsoever, you know, and but I do know that my people were handling that, and I paid my people, you know, and I do know that they distributed money all over Kingdom Come, and I know positively none of the money came to me.
Governor, how much do you think of this comes out of the fact that you never really distanced yourself from these businesses? I mean, you said you were going to put them into a blind trust.
What would that have mattered, really, at the end of the day? I mean, what would it have mattered? I mean, at the end of the day, if I'd had been a blind trust, I mean, you know, I ate dinner at the Greenbrier the other night, and somebody said, you know, was sitting at dinner and said, you know, how often do you come over and everything? And this would blow your mind. I'll bet you since the casino opened, I've not been to the casino a dozen times. I haven't been to the Greenbrier. I go to the Greenbrier once every 2 months and just to go by. You know, I eat there 3 times a year. So really and truly, if we'd have put it in a blind trust, and then I could have sat here and said, well, I don't have anything to do with that. That's in a blind trust. You're still going to ask the same questions. If somebody comes up and says there's a problem with Old White Charities, I'm going to still have to tell you that I am the charity. For crying out loud, there isn't any problem with Old White Charities. Are you kidding me? Are you teetotally kidding me? I mean, really and truly, it's just, from the Forbes article standpoint, now we want to give the investigators their due and let them investigate whatever they want to investigate, because I welcome it. I love it, to tell you the truth. Because when you know you're right, you know, they can investigate till the cows come home. But from the Forbes article standpoint, you'll see something back on that real soon. There's all kinds of inaccuracies. I've said that I don't want to get into what the inaccuracies are at this time. And we know absolutely that that article turned on a dime and turned into a political hit job. That's all there is to it. Guarantee it. You'll see as time goes by. But I can't comment anymore on that.
Governor, did you ever threaten to close the Greenbrier seasonally if it wasn't included in the TIF district, Greenbrier County?
No, you know, here's what I would tell you, that, you know, I think it's fair to say this, that raising another tax on the Greenbrier, when the Greenbrier is a contributor to the level that it is already contributing, at some point in time, we all need, and I'm really a guy that's really hung up on this, because this is all there is to it. In my life, if you would have opened the door for me as me being a kid and I wouldn't have stopped and thanked you, I'd have been in real trouble at my house. That's all there is to it. I'm a real believer in people being appreciative to one another all the time. The Greenbrier is an incredible resource for Greenbrier County and and the state of West Virginia. Incredible resource. The Greenbrier, let's be fair, the Greenbrier was just like the state of West Virginia. The Greenbrier was dead, dead. You know, the Greenbrier was told by the Marriott, who was the stalking horse bidder in the bankruptcy, that they were going to go to 700 to 900 employees. You know, there's half of the workforce of the Greenbrier that's losing their jobs, and you look at those people and look at their faces, and I was looking at them every day, you know, whether it be in the schools or wherever it may be. But you look at those people, what are they going to do? When their dad's dad or mom's mom worked at the Greenbrier forever and a day, and now they're going to lose their job, where are they going to go in White Sulphur Springs? I mean, let's be real. What is going to happen to those people? Well, we saved their jobs. That's all there is to it. If Marriott would have been there, bless their heart, Marriott's a great company and they were great to work with and all that, but it would have been a lot different animal than it is today. Now, with all that being said, you know, just jacking another tax onto the Greenbrier and everything in a situation that the Greenbrier's in, it would really, really hurt the Greenbrier. I would tell you all this. If and I have been really removed from running the Greenbrier for a long time. But if I were to give you, if I would be your financial consultant on the Greenbrier and tell you you own it and how should you run it to make money, today, the only way in the world that you can make it and really do well, and the Greenbrier just went through and had a really good year this last year. Best year it's ever had. And it's doing fine. The Greenbrier's surviving and the Greenbrier's going to do good, really good. But if you want to maximize your profitability to Greenbrier, let the last day that you're open be the day after Christmas. And then open up on June the 1st. And if you do that, you'll maximize your profitability at the Greenbrier. You know what you'll do if you do that? You'll kill a bunch of people and kill a bunch of good families. It's not the thing to do. It's not the thing to do. But if you were a money hog, it's the thing to do. I'm not going to do that.
So is it correct that you had a meeting with the Greenbrier County Commissioners telling them that if they did raise the hotel occupancy tax, that Greenbrier most likely would have to go to a seasonal operation? No, I think it's unfair characterizing it like this. I had a meeting with the county commission and everything because we talked about the airport primarily. You know, I think the airport in Greenbrier County can be a tremendous resource for southern West Virginia. You know, we were talking also about the possibility of creating another, I don't know if it's called the Convention Bureau or whatever, CBC or what, I don't know exactly what it is. But in doing so, how they were going to fund that was possibly double the bed tax at the Greenbrier. And I tried to explain to them just what I've already explained to you. The Greenbrier is still trying to recover in every way, shape, form, or fashion. And at some point in time, when anybody layers in more weight on the wagon, if you don't watch out, you could awaken to the wagon collapsing. Here's another perfect example. I mean, you know, if we don't watch out just this, all of a sudden out of clearly nowhere, people say, well, what about old white charities? What about neighbors loving neighbors? What about this? What about that? And everything else. And then the next thing that happens is maybe the banking gets difficult on the Greenbrier. Maybe, you know, you can cause repercussions of bad stuff and it be innocent as the driven snow. So I would say anything additional layered on the Greenbrier could put things in jeopardy more than they are even now. But the Greenbrier's doing good.
And it's, but it's, you know, when you've got insurance claims of $107 million and you've been paid 37, the first question that's got to come to everybody's mind is, well, how are they making it? I mean, how are they alive? I mean, we rebuilt 2 complete golf courses, guys. Well, you build an 18-hole golf course, you know, anybody in the world will tell you build it to Greenbrier standards or anybody's standard, it's $1 million a hole. That's $36 million just there. Now, we didn't spend that much money, but we spent a boatload of money there. But and you know, just think of all the damage. You had 30 feet of water in the tennis stadium, 6 feet of water in the chapel. You had water running in an area that big around in the walls in Colonial Hall, all through the Greenbrier, the casino and everything. I mean, Josh, it's just big time stuff.
So to follow up on that, you're saying, yes, you met with the Greenbrier County Commission to try to oppose a tax on the Greenbrier?
No, I met with the Greenbrier County Commission to try to encourage them to look at the possibilities of different ways to enhance the airport. That was what the primary driver of the whole thing was. We discussed an additional bed tax, and I told them exactly like I would tell you right now. An additional bed tax is layering in something on the Greenbrier that I don't know that the Greenbrier can withstand. But again, that's not my call. I mean, that's more Jill's call and Adam's call than my call, you know. But I said, the thing we should all do is celebrate and appreciate the contribution that the Greenbrier is making. You know, not, you know, always look for more out of the golden goose. We can't do that. But the biggest thing we talked about, and I would say just this to all of you. If you want to really grow, you've got to have the ability for people to get to you. That's all there is to it. In southern West Virginia, just think of what we've got. We've got mountains and trout streams and hiking and all kinds of hunting and all kinds of stuff like that. But you've got ATV, the ski facilities are close there. You got great golf, great, you know, hospitality. You've got all that in that area. Tourism is really booming in that area, but you can't get people to you. You can't get them to you. You know, that airport, to me, is the key to southern West Virginia really moving, or the Beckley Airport. One of the two. One of the two. And so we got to just find a way to get real air service, big time air service, you know, into that area. You know, we just worked on one other thing, you know, and that was the Marion County, and I'm going to mispronounce, but it's the airport at Bridgeport, Clarksburg, Marion County Airport, or I think is what it's called. But you know, they're doing a project up there that's just going to bring in all kinds of manufacturing opportunities and everything. They're going to move a mountain and spend $70 million, and it's really that's really great. Okay. Thank y'all. Byrd, thanks for your testimonial there.